Hey everybody, it's Paul and Seth of Everything Money Channel. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we welcome you into our YouTube channel. So many subscribers this year, Paul. We've said this before. We started in January. If you've been following along and a huge fan of ours, we really appreciate it. But in January, Paul, you and I were basically sitting in a room by ourselves, talking to just our friends with 86 subscribers. We're well
87.
over 87. That's right. And now we're well over 8,600 subscribers. And it's just
I'm hoping we finish the day at 8,700. That'd be absolutely awesome that we finish 100 times more in 1 year exactly.
Yeah, we've been prefacing the Everything Money 10,000 subscriber celebration with a wrestling match between you and me. I don't know how we got on wrestling. I mean, we had a guest in earlier in the year. Yeah, remember we had a guest in earlier in the year,
I know.
Zion Clark, who is a famous guy on Netflix. But yeah, that's slowly approaching, and now I think the proof's in the pudding here. If we actually get this done, we got to find a day. we weren't expecting this, Paul. We got to find a place to wrestle. We got to find an official, and those ridiculous outfits. I'm certain you're going to look good in yours. But in general, tell me your thoughts on 2020. I know it's obviously a crazy year for everyone that can't be overstated or even under. Whatever, Paul. I'm just. Tell me your thoughts on 2020, the markets, the trends. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, just talk about the channel. Would we have guessed we'd have 8,700 subscribers today from a year ago?
Probably not ever. No. I mean, your goal was 10,000. I've said it before. You were saying in January, February, your goal was 10,000. And even in a perfect year, I was not expecting it. It just seemed like so unobtainable. But of course, here we are slowly creeping up on that.
And you know me, I created 10,000 as kind of like, hey, listen, let's go pick a hard goal that we have to sit there and really hustle to hit. You know what I mean? And that was the goal and we're almost there. I mean, if we had an extra week, we'll be there next week. So that's the funny part about it. But the channel's been awesome because people have loved the 8 pillars and the analysis we do. And it's gotten us to even create our own website that we're currently working on right now. It's been under development for the last 3 or 4 weeks. It'll be ready in a few months to be able to give everyone access to our financial statements that we do for the top 3,500 or 4,000 US stocks, which is really important for those who care about the fundamentals. I love it. It's been a lot of fun. I love teaching, Seth, and I think this is the path for me for a very, very long time because of the fact that I see so many other YouTubers not talking about fundamentals. They talk about hype, which more power to them. There's a time and place for that, but we want to be around for the long run, which involves, analyzing companies and realizing what the fundamentals are. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, if you've been a follower of us all year, obviously I can't thank you enough. It's just been incredible. The point of this show is that I sort of bring a layman's terms approach to asking someone who knows a lot about investing and finance. I kind of ask them your questions, what you've been thinking, because I've been thinking of my whole life too. And Paul and I obviously talk about this show just outside of recording all the time. I mean,
we're pretty obsessed, aren't we?
Yeah, it's like we monitor it all day. And Paul, you again, I come through this as a viewer, guys. I'm you. Like I'm learning this just as you are. I'm learning how to be disciplined with my investment thoughts, disciplined and patient with where I'm going in the world. But in general, Paul, it's like I think we talk about our 8-pillar system, and you asked me to research on YouTube. Are there any financial systems or processes that I could find? And I went through a huge list. I mean, number one came up with
fundamentals
based. And I think Paul, we go over it again. My family just watched the movie Moneyball. It's obviously not a new movie; it's an old movie, and you love that movie, and I love that movie. And they talk about the process, just the slow process. And so I'm hoping that our viewers this year have just sort of embraced a new way to look at investing in stocks other than a trending stock price. For me, that was the only thing I ever looked at. I mean, it was just simple, Paul. If the stock's going up, I should buy. And if the stock's going down, I should worry and freak out. And you have given us a process and a system. Elaborate on that and tell people what we're really trying to do.
So in the short run, stocks are a voting machine. In the long run, they're a weighing machine. What that means is in the short run, the popular ones that get voted up are the ones that are going to do the best. But in the long run, what's behind the company, the balance sheet, the cash flow, the earnings, those are what's going to drive the stock price. If I told you today that a company was selling for $10 and it made $1 a year, and in 10 years it was going to make $10 a year, would you still think the company is worth $10 in 10 years? No, you'd sit there and say, well, wait a second. If their earnings have gone up 10 times, it's probably going to make more money. It's probably going to be worth way more money. I think it's a very logical assessment. Now, if you said, okay, in 10 years, the stock's going to be $10 a year, and all of a sudden today you sit there and say, okay, we're going to value it at $100, then you've taken out all the gains over the next 10 years. And that's where I'm trying to teach people is there's a difference between a good company and a good stock. If you overpay for anything in the world, it can go from a good investment to a bad investment. If you underpay, it can go from a bad investment to a good investment. Everything's based on what you pay for it. So I'm trying to teach everybody price is what you pay, value is what you get. When they're usually somewhat disconnected. You try to find the places where the price is less than the value. Unfortunately, it takes a certain discipline to be able to sit there and say the market is wrong and I'm right and I will be right in the long run. It's a very, very difficult thing to do.
That's the toughest thing, Paul. Yeah, I mean, that's the toughest thing is that you it's shown you've wrong. We've gotten the comments. You've been wrong about Tesla. You've been wrong about Amazon for different reasons, of course. And it's just I say this all the time, guys, if you're following along some other YouTube creators out there and every other video just says you can 30x, 20x, 10x your money, it's just that simple. Just put it with Neo and we'll all be millionaires. And it's like, Paul, you talk about the brainwashing of like, if it was that easy, then why aren't all these people millionaires, Paul? I mean, talk about that, Paul.
You know, money in general is simple, but not easy. I like to break it down in simple terms of cash flow and balance sheets. The problem is it feels like a lot of work to go sit there and look at a balance sheet and look at a cash flow statement, look at an income statement. That's why we do the 8 pillars, and that's why we teach the process we teach, because we're trying to teach people how to look at these things and break them down. And you always hear me talk about analogies in reference to your personal life. You know what I mean? We talk about current assets and current liabilities, cash in your bank account versus your credit card bill, all these things. And that's all a company is a glorified version of you, is a bigger version of you. You have the same balance sheets. You have the same cash flow statements. If a company has too complicated of a balance sheet, avoid it. There are 10,000 companies located in the United States of America that are publicly traded. You can find 20, 30, or 40 of them that are going to fit your criteria that you can understand. That's the hard part, especially when your neighbor's making a ton of money, your dad's making a ton of money, your sister's making a ton of money, your brother's making a ton of money. It's hard to sit there and say, I'm okay. I mean, look at me. I haven't made practically any money in the market in the last 4 or 5 years. I've been out of it. And most people would sit there and say, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm looking at it going, okay, it'll work itself out. At some point, the market will fall and fall big, and I will make a lot of money. I'm okay with that. I'm 39. I have plenty of time. If you're sub 50, you should not worry about it. You got 15, 20 years to make up for time. If you're over 60, you should be concerned about today's market. So that's all we're trying to do here is just teach a more disciplined approach and a more value-centric approach to investing where you can buy a company at a good value and just wait for the market to realize it. Does that mean you're always going to be right? Absolutely not. You are still going to be wrong. And when the market goes against you, it is still your responsibility to investigate, did I miss something? Every time the market goes against you, you still have to sit there and say, well, wait a second, maybe I'm missing something. And what you should do is go out and talk to people who have the opposite view of you, go research people who have the opposite view, and see if they have any other information that you did not consider. And that's what we do on a daily basis. We look at the bullish reports and the bearish reports on every single company we want to buy and see what people are saying. And sometimes the bullish and bearish report are completely hype-driven reports and that have nothing to do with actual fundamentals. And you have to weigh these things. That's why investing is an art. And that's what we're trying to teach is the art of investing.
Yeah, guys, we don't have too much more to say. We just wanted to thank everybody, all the subscribers.
Oh my God. I should just write a book called The Art of Investing. Write that down. I should write a book called The Art of Investing.
But yeah, guys, we just wanted to, all of our patrons, I mean, Paul and I had some discussions about Patreon, and I assure you, Paul did not want to seem greedy, maybe needy for money, which is not certainly the case as he sits in his Mexico home, which I will be joining you, Paul, in 48 hours.
Oh my God, it is 48 hours. You're right.
Crazy. So we will be going live next week from Mexico, but in general, it's really the access, and our Patreon has just taken off. We welcome you as new members. You'll join our Discord, and the highest tier gets access to Paul. We do videos just for patrons only, and it's been quite incredible to have this community that we're building of like-minded folks speaking and investing and talking, and it's just The Discord channel is off the hook. It's going crazy all day. Paul, what has that meant to you, just flipping on that Patreon and seeing so much success from it?
Well, first off, I thank you for really pushing that, because I was afraid to sound like I would. I always said I want to provide value to everybody. The same thing as my value investing. I wanted to provide value. And when we were able to link Patreon with value, which is everyone who's a Patreon member will get our website for free if you support us now, and even in the future, but the lowest Patreon level will increase when our website's done. It's currently $8. I think the next Patreon level will be $15 when the website's done. So it'll still save you on the app and the website, because the website normally would be 20 or 25 bucks. But the reason I love it so much is it's gotten so many people engaged on Discord, and a lot of like-minded people engaging each other in investing and talking about different ideas. And it's been very respectful. Nobody's been a jerk, which is awesome, because that's been my big concern, is that we have people in there that are jerks like me. But it's been wonderful. I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad you forced me to do it. Not forced me, but you just bothered me until I did. I figured out a way to make it work for my mentality, right? I didn't feel comfortable being that guy going, hey, support me, I need the money. I wanted to be, hey, support us, and you're gonna get a lot of value from it. Because I think this 8-pillar website, it's gonna start out with 8 pillars and financial statements. And it's only gonna grow from there in terms of all the things we provide. And Seth, we talked about having, Mo and I talked last night about, like, how do we get 100,000 people using the website?
Yeah.
On the Patreon using the website. So, I know of a group through one of our viewers who has 35,000 people in his Discord. I mean, that's insane. That's so much. And it's like, wow, that's great. So it's been an awesome year for Everything Money. And I think we're going to be laughing a year from now about where we are. We're going to be like, remember when we were excited about 8,700? Just like we hit 1,000 on September 22nd, and it's now December 31st, and we're at 8,700 in a few hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, incredible. Again, guys, thanks so much. Behind the scenes, we have to thank our producer, Don. He's never on camera. He doesn't want to be. But Paul, I do have a photo of him I'm going to share against his will on YouTube. So just to show him working. But Don's been an incredible help. We have our camera guy intern, Nate, helping us this year. And that's what it takes, folks, to run this show. I mean, it takes a lot.
Don's been the great one. He's the one that pushed the YouTube. He's the one that learned how to do the back end stuff. He's the one that did all that stuff. I mean, it's been a great team effort. But Don was really learning the back end SEO stuff and really gained. So whenever you see a video that has 30,000 views, it's because Don learned how to do that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, again, our deepest thanks to you. Make sure you're smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, if you're new, follow along.
Should we talk about the year in stocks?
Oh, go ahead, Paul. Sorry, I'm ready to wrap, baby. Go for it.
No. The whole point of this video is talking about 2020 in terms of the markets.
That was a long thank you, but go ahead, Paul.
So 2020 started with what we thought was an overpriced market. I think the S&P hit a peak of 33.93 in February. And there was talk of the coronavirus back in December, I think it was. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, man, this is crazy. February 19th, we hit a peak. On March 20th, we hit 2190 or so on the S&P. We went from 33.93 to 2190. Keep in mind,
Paul, for the past 2 years, you were saying that should go down to about 1500, and of course, you sounded nuts at the time. And boy, we got pretty close to that. I went to Las Vegas at the end of February, and one of my friends, my photographer friends, told me to wear a mask on a plane. I thought she was out of her damn mind. Like, that was just crazy talk of doing something like that. But yeah, talk about the markets during that crash.
So it crashed, and I mean, I remember 7, 8, 9, 10% days, and you know me, I was enjoying it very much. So I was making money because I shorted the market. So I made this huge amount of money in that 1 month, closed out that short. But the economy dropped 34% that quarter. Unemployment went to 15 or 18%. And now we're at all-time highs again. And I'm like, this just doesn't add up to me. I know a lot of people think I'm missing something, but guys, fundamentally, this makes no sense whatsoever. There's very reliable metrics on price to GDP and what's called the cyclically adjusted PE ratio, which is taking the last 10 years of earnings on the S&P, bringing them to today's dollars. And there's a lot of metrics that say we're more expensive than 1999 and 2000. So I'm looking at going, listen, I never know what's going to happen on a year-to-year basis. If I told you in March that the market would go from 2190 to 3750, what would you have said?
I mean, the whole year has just been a complete mind screw. So, I mean, yeah.
Insane. So what's going to happen in 2021? I don't know. All I know is that The more we learn about fundamentals, the more you will be happy when stocks go down. It's about reframing your mind to not be upset when stocks go down. It's to be happy when stocks go down and realize that you're investing for the long. I mean, we have a lot of patrons who are 19, 20, 21 years old who are saving for age 65 or 70. Guys, if stocks fell 80% today, you shouldn't care. You should just say, okay, I have time to put more money in the market as time goes on and make more money and be ready for my retirement. That's what you should be focused on. That's the kind of thing we're trying to teach, because that's how we think here in our office. And that's the way we want everybody else to think, because we want to have the like-minded people saying, this is a long-term play. And if stocks go down, you're able to buy, not buy the dip because it goes down 1 or 2%, buy the crash. Like, you should be excited about a crash in the sense of it's an opportunity to buy great companies at great prices.
Yeah, Paul, I know, we obviously tease some headlines about our thoughts on the market, where it's going. You've been very adamant. You never really know, but you want to have your process right and prepared for something like that to happen. And so we hope that we're teaching you guys that. And if you join our Patreon, obviously you'll get a lot more of it on a daily basis. And yeah, Paul, deep down, we're kind of both educators. My wife was a teacher for 15 years. I taught in graduate school. I've always been drawn to it. And obviously you teach at your local high school and now a college, a university in Cleveland. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that we've got, I guess I'm kind of surprised we've got this big of a following. I sit here thinking, what do people see in us? We're just two jerks talking about finances. But obviously it's really your experience that you're sharing that has helped me and our viewers so much. So it's just been, I don't know, man, I'm speechless. It's funny. I'm on a show and I'm also speechless about how crazy this year has been. So,
and go back to the show idea. Like, I mean, our goal is 1 million subscribers and more. I mean, we're not here, but we want it to be good subscribers. We don't want it to just be people who are fly by night. We want to have a good community of subscribers. If you told me right now, Paul, 5 million subscribers, but they're whatever, or 1 million really, really good subscribers, which one I'd pick? I'd pick the 1 million really good subscribers. Because we want to build this community of people who really believe and are going to add value to it. I mean, we have patrons now reaching out to Mo and I to do research for us. Like, they want to do research because I'm good at very high level research. I can look at the financials very quickly. And because of my business experience, I know what questions to ask. But there are questions to ask. I don't want to go dig through a 10K and go find out. Like, I know I need to ask these questions. Let me go find somebody who's going to go out there and spend a couple hours digging through a 10K, get me the answers, or go do some research on the internet. And these are part of the things that we're going to provide as part of our Everything Money website at some point.
Thanks, guys. Paul, we'll wrap with that. On to 2021 and on to more subscribers and on to supporting the ones that we have. We love you. We appreciate you. We think about you guys and gals on a daily basis, and the love you've given us this year has been. What's that? An hourly?
The first thing I check in the morning when I wake up is the comments. I go, okay, let me start responding to comments on the YouTube channel. I check the subscriber count. I check the data from yesterday. I check the comments. I'm always responding to comments. At some point in 2021, that's probably going to stop because it's already now. Like, if you don't look at your phone for 2 or 3 hours, which doesn't happen, but if you didn't, we have 20, 30, 40 comments. It's just like, oh my God, it's inundated.
It is overwhelming, but we thank you guys. Paul, on to 2021. We have a live stream, guys, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, and 2 videos every single day. We'll keep jamming, and with your support, we appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up, tickle that thumbs up, and
tickle that thumbs up.
Make sure you subscribe, guys. Appreciate it. See you guys. See you, Paul.
See you, homie.